The CCSA is imposing further COVID-19 restrictions, including a nighttime curfew, travel restrictions in Bangkok and other dark red zones for 14 days, expected to take effect as soon as tomorrow. Full details at thetiger.com with all the latest details posted throughout the weekend. Tim Newton will also host a special program on our YouTube channel tomorrow about the details of the added restrictions, so be sure to subscribe to the channel. At the same meeting, the Thai Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha also announced that he will not take a salary for 3 months. Wow, he must have seen my recent rant. More news stories after our very cool new jingle. Before we begin, a quick announcement to join the conversation with Thaiger Talk. It's a new comment section for the Thaiger website and provides a lot of new topics and opportunities to participate in the news and just about everything related to life in Thailand. Remember to be nice to Tim. Just click on Thaiger Talk under any article and you can join the Thaiger Talk conversation. Okay, on to the news. 9,276 new COVID-19 community infections and 72 coronavirus-related deaths were reported today by the CCSA, making it Thailand's worst day since the start of the pandemic 17 months ago. With the spread of the highly transmissible Delta variant, the CCSA expects daily case reports to exceed 10,000 in the next few days. Out of the new cases today, 278 were found in correctional facilities. In the latest and most severe wave of infections, first recorded on April the 1st, the CCSA has reported 288,643 infections across Thailand. Following this week's explosion and subsequent fire in central Samut Prakan that cost one rescue worker his life, 39 injuries, and saw 80,000 people affected, the government is telling the Ming Dih Chemical factory to shift its operations to an industrial location if they want to stay in business in Thailand. The Department of Industrial Works has told the company to shut down the factory. The minister added that the company would have to relocate to an industrial estate where the company must follow industrial rules. The minister did not state if the factory was previously following different rules. The minister added that despite being told to move, the company still retains its Board of Investment privileges. The Golden Triangle, skirting northeastern Myanmar, northern Thailand, and northwestern Laos, is one of the biggest global sources of narcotics. This year, the area is experiencing a major surge in drug production. Tim Newton has this perspective.
Thai officials seized more than 80 million methamphetamine pills over the past 6 months. And whilst that sounds like a lot, it's really just a drop in the ocean compared to the annual export of narcotics from the area. The Secretary-General of the Anti-Narcotics Committee in Thailand stated that whilst there is no drug production facility in China, the chemicals to manufacture them are smuggled through India and China to be delivered to Burmese ethnic minority drug production areas. He said that drug smuggling operations of all kinds continue across the border despite the efforts made by Customs and Border Patrol Police to intercept smuggling operations. One of the officials of the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime maintained that drug trafficking and smuggling continues around the borders of Myanmar and Thailand on a very large scale, revealing that they'd received information that nearly 1.5 tonnes of crystal methamphetamine, that's a lot of ice, were recently confiscated in the eastern Shan state in an area called Mong Yang, probably heading to Thailand and then to other countries. He added that if the Thai government doesn't take clear measures, migrant workers will be further exposed to additional dangers and may be lured to carry out illegal acts, which could include serious offences like human smuggling or drug smuggling across the border. Tim Newton for the Thaiger.
Thank you, Tim, for the insightful report. And Thailand News Today will be back right after this quick break. The Phuket office of the Public Relations Department has tried to paint a win for a meeting regarding overcharging taxis in the Phuket Sandbox. though the resolutions seem unrelated to the actual problem. During the meeting, taxi drivers agreed to a 20% discount for all fares until the end of the COVID-19 pandemic, but did not address the problem of complaints from passengers about price gouging and allegations that taxi rates have been bumped up since Phuket reopened at the start of the month. Attending the meeting were the Phuket Vice Governor, the Chief of the Phuket Land Transport Office, representatives from local taxi companies, and the Phuket Limousine and Bus Services Cooperative. One discussion noticeably absent from reports about the meeting was why cab drivers mostly refuse to use their taxi meters. The Phuket governor noted that criticism on taxi price gouging is tarnishing Phuket's reputation as the Phuket Sandbox tries to restart the tourism economy. There's also this black box on the taxi dashboard that, calculates the fare based on actual distance driven, but nah, that can't be the solution. Next story. Foreign nationals who've been stranded in Vietnam will now be able to take advantage of one final automatic extension of stay issued by the country's immigration department. The automatic extension allows foreigners who arrived on visa waivers, e-visas, and tourist visas from March 1st of 2020 to remain in Vietnam until July 31st, but will then have to depart the country without applying for an extension of stay. The stipulation also applies to foreign nationals who arrived in Vietnam prior to March 1st of 2020. However, in this instance, travelers must provide evidence that they became stranded in the country as a result of the pandemic. Travelers will be required to show the supporting documentation from their embassy or the Vietnamese authorities on their departure. While, like Thailand, Vietnam has issued several extensions to the grace period for stranded foreign nationals, it appears the deadline of July 31st is final. If you are in this boat, you will need to check your individual options with your embassy or a visa agent. Thailand's foreign ministry is blaming a lack of proper documentation for being unable to issue certificates of entry to many tourists wishing to visit Phuket. The ministry is denying tardiness in issuing COEs to Phuket-bound tourists. The minister was responding to reports that the failure to promptly issue COEs had resulted in the number of visitors under the Phuket Sandbox program falling way below the target. He said, quote, "The ministry is working as fast as we can to issue the COEs. However, several tourists did not meet the criteria or did not present all the required documents. Therefore, we could not issue the COE." Under the Sandbox program, tourists who can verify they have been inoculated against COVID-19 and test negative can fly into Phuket and move around freely around the province without having to quarantine. Today's announcements from the CCSA about further restrictions and curfews in Bangkok and other dark red provinces may affect travelers' ability to move around following their 14 days on the island. So what am I going to do this weekend? Well, I'm open to suggestions for songs that I can blast on my new hi-fi system to the detriment of my neighbor, and I'll be waiting with great anticipation whether my Monday vaccination appointment will be honored. Now, based on the news, while Bangkok has stepped up its vaccination program, many have reported getting their appointments delayed indefinitely. So I'll be back to read the news on Tuesday, either with a sore left arm and a smile on my face, or with a big rant about the incompetency of everyone involved. Meanwhile, don't forget to subscribe to the Thaiger channel and turn the notification bell on for the latest updates in the land of smiles. Thank you so much for watching, and Sawadee Krap.